My name is Rhapsody, his name is sneakyteak, and welcome back to the ladder streak. How's it going, bud?
That was a very distinctive sound.
Mm.
I recognize that sound from the many years where I was definitely in class at university.
When you spent those times definitely in class at
Oh,
university, definitely in
the sound of learning.
the Young Henry's Newtowner Pale Ale Theater, I'm assuming?
That's right.
Yeah.
Frequented.
Similar.
It's a place of fine arts.
Oh, it's a place that is just a delight for the senses.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got a Watcher Ascension 4 coming up. Bosses are deadlier. So I would ask you, what do we have to consider about the Watcher? But we've done the Watcher a couple times before.
And we've even done this Ascension with Watcher a couple times before, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to remake the thumbnails for the last 3 episodes.
Isn't that nice? How convenient. The assets are prepared.
Eventually, I'll just have, all of the characters set through, acts 1, 2, and 3 and 4 for Ascensions 1 to 20. It's just, I've been lazy and I haven't auto-generated them yet.
Well, you know what? I will say, if there ever were an example of an Ascension that should impact Watcher, this is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because in most cases, not to say it is impossible to build a Watcher deck that struggles in the hallway, but in most cases, regular enemies are pretty takeable for Watcher. And elites too. It's really your core block scaling for bosses where you can start to have some trouble. And even there, up into the heart, literally sometimes you can just blasphemy and win in a single turn.
Yes.
But the more health and the more damage that bosses do, the more that Watcher struggles.
Sometimes your block core is divinity, and that's okay, right up until the heart.
That's right.
I've seen a couple good paths here. I'm obviously looking at the question marks, but we could go for an extra enemy early. There is a 4 elite, 2 midline rest path. He ends in the Emerald.
Ooh.
And we have choice.
I really like that. But there's no merchant early on that path, is there?
There isn't. We do have another option for one that does not have a rest, has a question mark instead. It ends up in the same path, and we do get an early shop. So that could be the curse removal, but I'm kind of looking at this.
Maybe this is just common relic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Watcher takes boss swap well too, by the way. Yeah, do that and win. Nice. Nice.
Gotta love a good double damage turn.
You do have to love double damage. Yeah, that path's really strong. There is a point in Watcher runs where you can start to double down on taking tons of events. But I've said it so many times before, I feel like a broken record, but the only way when climbing with Watcher that you can consistently lose is to fail to bring together a block core. And a block core is made up of cards. And so I find that when I am not being diligent to take a bunch of fights with Watcher, my chance of losing goes up a lot. And we have Slime Boss. Yeah, that's a snap pick.
Slime Boss. There's
100% snap pick.
I agree, but at the same rate, cards. Why would you want cards in this card game?
Why do you want cards in this card game? Yeah.
Teak, just no card deck.
It's so funny because I guess people probably know. So we often talk for a while before we start making these. What do you want here?
I kind of want the crush joints just for the 2 elites to be useful on.
Yeah, I dig it. I think that's worth. I think crush joints and a conclude is like all the damage that we need, really.
I don't want to carry the regrets through the elite fights health.
Me neither. No removal. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we definitely talked for a while before this.
We talked for a while, and the point I was going to make was not just that we have a human social engagement. We talk for sometimes minutes. It's that it becomes hard for me to differentiate between the conversation we had before the stream and the conversation we're having now. Who has what context? It's like, am I retreading here, or have we been here before? You know what I mean?
I get that so often that I've lent into it, and I just reiterate things freely. Like,
just
I've
tell the story
said
again.
This before, but
you never stop loving Grandpa just because he tells you the story one more time. If anything, it's endearing.
I mean, the amount of times you end up in a situation of tell that one again.
Tell that story again, Grandpa.
It's not bad. I honestly don't hate Windmill Strike, but I have heard your response to me saying that before. How do you feel about the Windmill Strike?
Yeah, Windmill Strike, here's a good example. Empty Fist exists. A card that costs 1 and just says do 14 damage. And so Windmill Strike is just too slow for what it wants to do, and Watcher is too not good at scaling up block to consistently take advantage of it, especially competing with other 2-cost attacks like Wallop, Reach Heaven, Wheel Kick. I don't think it's got what it takes. It's one of my least picked Watcher cards, but I will take it when you just have no option.
It also seems to, in a lot of the time, compete in choices at the absolute least against the... Oh god, I've forgotten it. It's the 4-cost that decreases the cost over time. Retain.
Oh, it's Sands of Time.
Sands of Time, yes.
And that card has a bigger number on it right away, which matters. Honestly, here, I would say if I had to pick an attack, I would pick Follow-Up above Windmill probably with this deck.
But do you have to pick an attack? And do you have to pick anything?
I don't think we have to pick anything here. If I were going to take something here, it would be Empty Body, but I don't even think we need that.
Yeah, I'm not really encouraged with the Empty Body yet. That's a bunch of extra damage on the turn 1.
Sure. Too bad that we didn't have that Crush Joints upgraded yet, but close. I think you do Erupt here. That's just heuristic thinking. But I suspect, especially with Swift Pot, that if you Erupt and strike here, we take 16, but then we win next turn. Instead of taking 8 and then 24.
All right.
It's such a weird thing, but it's so frequently the case with Gremlin that this is the best way to just take the one hit.
It's nice to get tomorrow. We might actually have the ability to lean into it. Ooh, these are some premium choices.
No lie. Oh man. Okay, so I feel like my Slay the Spire brain is in hibernation, and this just kicked it right in the face. How do you pick here between these? Actually, I would love. I feel like I do this too much. Talk me through these 3 choices. Would you be so kind?
Sure. I really, really like Foresight in every deck. Foresight just gives you a lot of control over your next hand. It really doesn't matter what deck you put it in a lot of the time, and it has the ability to synergize with extra things on top of it, of course. Fasting, I don't take it unless I already have support for it, either for ignoring its downside by artifacting before it, or just a low-cost enough deck that I can really comfortably play into it.
Like that Just Lucky that we skipped.
Yes, I think that might be a mistake of mine, though. I don't necessarily stand by that. Fasting is a card that I feel like I still have a lot more space to explore on. So do I feel that with Conjure Blade as well. I've had a lot of conversations recently where I've asked people about the value of... actually, I have had... Not recently, but it was like 2 months ago, and I had like a bunch of conversations around the time of the value of Conjure Blade. And I think in so many circumstances, there are better ways to generate that damage. But again,
it's incredible.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't play...
I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes.
I think Bonjour Blade is at its best when you can burst energy and then take advantage of the multi-hit. If you want strength and you want something like Talk to the Hand, and all of a sudden Expunger is crazy. And if you do happen to have an upgrade, Expunger goes from 9x to 15x.
These are the kinds of things that I just always have a little bit of a problem with, because in this class, I would, as I've said before, just blow up enemies because I wasn't fighting the heart constantly with the Watcher. But if I had to, a card that gets really big and doesn't exhaust seems really good. A card that actually lets me scale my defense seems really good. Like, the evaluation I have on these 2 cards, unfortunately, is, I would say, in its infancy.
For what it's worth, and I love, I know that we've slowed down here more than we usually do, but I actually think this is a perfect example of like a really critical and dense pick in Slay the Spire. Because these are all such impactful cards, but also very costly cards, right? Each of them requires you to do something and receive delayed gratification on the card. I think that your allergy to Conjure Blade, it's the same as mine. It's a clunky card, but when it pops off, and sometimes it's obvious that it's perfect. Foresight is one of my favorite cards in the class. I think I pick Fasting here, and and here's why. It's your 2 relics, actually. You have a pen nib. I say yours, it's ours, right? Our 2 relics, our 2 relics. We have a pen nib, which means strength that we get from fasting is double dipped, and actually frequently triple dipped, quadruple dipped from all of our wrath and stuff. And we have a Damaru. Damaru is huge. I think it's easy to underestimate how big of a deal Damaru is. Damaru is like the one backdoor that you need to pick up prostrate, as an example.
I just realized where you were going with that.
Yep. So I don't know. The thing is that makes foresight better too. But I think this fasting is incredible. But I think that we wear it like a curse mostly for now. I think that it's an investment pick.
I wonder if we want to upgrade Eruption a little earlier than we otherwise might because of the lower cost that we, or lower energy that we might have as a result of fasting.
Yeah, it's a good question. I
want to conclude now though.
Yeah, I think this is Crush Joints Conclude or Eruption, right? And we just pick the one that saves us the most life against these 2 elites. And I think
Sentry
that's probably
being
Conclude.
Next would be the most terrifying, so yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the Crush Joints is playing too hard into Lagu, which is a fight that we're already kind of okay at. And Damaru is actually good here if we bide a little bit of time and try to get some pen nib, like just get those little strikes in the first couple turns.
Single strike, my bad. We fasting,
I think we strike fasting. Yeah, I think we strike fasting. Yeah. And so in fights like Lagavulin and boss fights, the unupgraded fasting on 3 energy ends up paying for itself very consistently, which is always really neat.
Do we want to deal extra damage, like an extra almost 15?
That's actually pretty good, isn't it?
Miracle?
Just burn on this turn, turn and burn on this turn.
Pretty dang reasonable. Like, what later turn would I be using it on? Like, next turn I'm either going to full defend, full stop.
I guess we would use it to more easily Wrath and Pen Nib, but right now the ability to turn that Crush Joints on, that's a lot of damage. I think that's worth. That's a strong opener. That looks worth to me.
Ooh, it's not gonna be enough. If we did the draw 12, 18, 36, 12, 48. No, not getting there. Double defend?
You could just erupt and then vigilance. That would have been a play too. But I think double defend is it's better block. If we just wanted to get the chip online, but we might not have to. You know, it may actually have been best to just do the block here.
Yeah. Lose 8 health in a Lagavulin fight. I'm pretty happy with that.
If that's where we land, right? Oh, nice. Nice.
That's gonna be where we land. Do you want a 72 damage conclude?
I don't know. Is it enough?
Oh, you're right. We should use the strike. That's more.
Yeah. That's more reasonable. Hey, and we have a. Oh my god. We don't need any of this. You could maybe make a case for Empty Fist, but I think right now.
Yeah.
Skippity doodah.
We want.
It's nice to have this buffer fight too to get our pen nib up.
Yeah, that is actually really positive for us. I wonder...
It's such a thing to babysit, right? It's like, oh, yeah, did we get our free pen nib thing?
Mm-hmm. As the watcher, I will babysit the pen nib like much more actively than any other character.
Which I think is reasonable. It wins fights for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you like Letter Opener just as a card? How do you feel about it? Oh my god, let's get a couple
out here.
Yeah, let's do that.
How do I feel about Letter Opener as a relic? Quite positive.
Yeah.
I don't tend to like utilize it actively. It does tend to very much just be an excess effect that I have the ability to trigger. I realize with comparison to Mercury Hourglass how poor that was of a read of it. Because Mercury Hourglass, I'm always super excited to see. 3 damage a turn, guaranteed. This one can do 10 damage a turn AoE. It can do 5 damage a turn AoE, and relatively commonly does. I tend to think of things that I don't have to work towards as a lot more valuable.
Yeah, love the third eye here. I like the Letter Opener a lot, and it's a good example of a kind of not obscene, okay? It's not a pocket watch. It's not a dead branch, but this is a relic that I pick up in Act 1, and it makes me much more confident about Act 2. Because so much of your challenges in Act 2 are defined by how do I do some consistent damage to these little targets, right? Gremlin leaders, just a little bit more to kill that backline slaver and the tri-slavers. You trying to decide fasting versus some strikes?
Yep.
This may be some strikes because of pen nib. Can we line up a better pen nib if we just get online?
So 2 strikes, we'd have the 4th attack next turn go off with 3 energy. I mean, no, we don't have the ability to get it in 2 turns time, but if next turn we draw Vigilance.
Wait a minute. We have a miracle here.
We do.
If we don't play fasting, we've got 3 energy and a miracle. If we were to draw eruption in 2 attacks, oh, that's only 3
9.
attacks. So we would have to do no eruption. But then even without eruption, conclude is doing 32 with crush joints. That's 48.
Yeah, if we draw Crush, conclude, strike. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, we have Swift Pot, so we can make that hand.
Oh, hell yes. Okay, yeah, we'll go for that then. Happy about it. Is there any universe where instead we block for 13, keep the pot? Probably not.
Yeah, maybe, right? Just go Vigilant Strike here.
Oh, you want to go for the strike?
Or Strike Vigilance.
Like it.
Yeah. That way we play the skill out first here.
Ooh, yes. Get him.
Nice.
Should have used
that
the
was a clean
strikes.
fight.
Clean fight, definitely. Wrath on entry. Wrath on will.
I do like the one-off Crescendo. It's a card I've been bitten by. I used to think that Crescendo. What's the Tranquility? Is that the calm one?
Yes.
I used to take these like they were candy. Oh yeah, that's right. I just used to pick them up all the time, and then you end up with a deck that's kind of awkward. But when you're in this mid kind of teenage phase of the Watcher run, and you just need one more source of wrath, it's perfect. And it works with Letter Opener actually.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the really things that the things I really appreciate about it is the ability to hold it in hand until the right time, line up the right shot with it better. Because you can't always rely on Eruption just being in hand at the right time. I want to lift here, personally.
Yeah, I think we're going all the way in on the lift. The one like super edge case that I could consider is, do we get our last 2 upgrades so that we take Fusion Hammer and then Fusion Hammer and lift? But I think that's such a stretch. We just get the strength, and it makes us win more.
Crush, fasting. I'm just going to hard pass that. Look for the AoE.
Sure. Yeah.
Should be completely fine.
Agreed.
Extra attack, hell yeah.
Yeah. Who's it gonna be? There it is. There's a card. Ayo. Sentries are finally here, and they're plus max HP, which is actually fine. If we can line up the Crescendo conclude, it's not even close.
Huh, so we used the miracle this turn.
I think so.
I like it. I was thinking about this as being more problematic. Thankfully, it hasn't been. Third eye, double defend. Just wait, do it.
And just get the thing. Agreed.
Should we win, do you think, Teak? Should we just... I don't know. I'm thinking of losing in this fight.
Would you like to lose instead? Oh, look at it. So good. Oh, crap. Okay, well, I guess we'll pen nib.
Yeah, it is a shame.
It's too bad, because we almost were in a position where we could pass the pen nib forward into the... Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
So how do you choose between...
Can I pitch something?
Yeah.
Can we take Weave over Meditate?
I was even considering the inner piece here for another comm, but I actually think this Weave is very good and will get better. 0 cost attack with strength and a pen nib.
And fasting, yeah.
And a third eye. What we're looking for is another third eye and that foresight, but we want those things anyway.
Yep.
I'm in because frankly, even if we just draw it as an attack, it's pretty okay right now. Right?
And it's only getting more okay as we go.
It's only going to get better.
We get an extremely swole, ultra jacked. Oh, Weave, come back. We cycle prostrate for the first cycle, right?
Do you want to just play it to get the mantra further because Damaru?
But are we going to be finishing? Like, don't we need to worry about splitting?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe we just want to win in 3 turns. Yeah, you're right. Are we gonna use our? I'd like to figure out if we can save this fairy in a bottle. Are we gonna be able to?
Depends on the draw, I think. I'd like Crescendo. Okay, there's Fasting Conclude.
Do we just erupt on this turn then? Is there and then
Fasting
that
Erupt?
not-
No.
Yeah.
Erupt,
Because
Strike,
being-
Conclude. How much damage do we just get out of doing all of that, right? 16, 27. So 27
Yes.
down from your current HP. Still reasonable.
The max is 75, 25 plus 12, so 30. We have to do 36 or less.
We can do that with just the Eruption Strike.
Cool. In that case, is it just Fasting Strike Conclude, and then we draw the Crescendo, and we hold Miracle? Oh, we wouldn't hold Miracle.
Yeah, can't hold Miracle in that case.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I like Eruption Strike. I think that seems pretty reasonable. And I would much rather spin the Swift Pot in this fight than because the Fairy in a Bottle could be our win against Bronze Automaton or Champ. That's a big deal.
Happy to spend it right now so that I don't get those defends back in the cycle.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we just want to
Interesting turn.
defend this? What's your actual damage right now? Half of that, so 38.
So you would do what, like Vigilance, Miracle, Defend, and get the 5 damage from the letter opener, and mostly block enough to live, and then Crescendo for the win?
I don't
That's
believe it
pretty
is
good.
enough to live. That's 18 health that we can get back. 38 damage is your half. So
Oh,
we're
crap.
exactly dead doing that.
Oh crap, you're right. Oh man, we're barely off. Oh, with oh man. Okay. Well, in that
How
case,
about this? It's
Okay.
Crush Joints, Strike,
Well, we miracle.
Miracle Vigilance.
We miracle first, so Crush Joints gets vuln.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah, I
stay
like
in
that.
Vigilance for the Crescendo and then just
I like that.
blow them up
And
next
that's a
turn.
ton of damage too, actually.
Yeah.
And we're at 8 on Pen Nib. Oh, I didn't think about the prostrate draw.
Hell
Not
yeah.
that it matters. Nice. Oh, we have a conclude coming too, I think.
Fasting Third Eye. Yeah.
Yep. GG. That's game. That's game for these nerds.
GG Teak. Hey,
Crescendo.
oh no, we
conclude.
got
That's
weakened.
the whole run.
We got
Oh,
weakened. We
no.
don't get to keep the the pen nib.
Maybe we still can. 31 damage. Think about it.
Oh, and then I play the yes, perfect. This is why I should be valuing the letter opener a little bit. No, I can't play that many skills.
Wait, did we just die? Wait, we have to attack.
No,
Wait,
it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine, Teak. Everything's fine.
This,
Ow.
this is not my beautiful house.
Ow.
What have we done?
Why did I listen? Teak, why?
It was. Listen, it was a good idea, but it was contingent upon a 0 cost.
It was.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Well, Fairy in a Bottle is frankly a handicap that we don't deserve. That was a crutch.
It
Send
was
it
just
back.
it was just gonna mess us up. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
We would have made poor plays with the safety of the fairy, and now we have to focus on playing very, very well.
Exactly.
Which is fun to watch.
You always play better on your last life. That's what I've always
That's
said.
right. That's right. That's right.
I am looking at these, and I don't feel strongly positive. I usually am pretty positive about a wish, but the possibility of drawing a fasting and wanting to play it earlier and just locking ourselves out of wish for a lot of the fights feels bad.
Yeah. But we're likely to get an energy. We've got one energy. I like the wish because fights that we have on lock, which we hope to have more and more of, it's just gold.
Mhm.
And I'll take a gold card for gold.
All right, let's take that gold.
Treat it
card
like
for
a
gold.
weird hand of greed. Oh, gosh.
Well,
Oh.
are we?
We might. We probably should. That's actually really. Oh God! But if we had the fairy in a bottle, I would feel so much more confident about this play. Like, because the capacity to just get us through the first 3 fights, and
Yep.
then we're online. But we've got to do it. We've got to do it.
All right, I'm gonna look away from the screen. I'm going to hear your reaction, and I'm going to try and
Okay.
determine how good our results are. And you know what? Actually, from your reaction, I'm going to try and determine the names of a couple of the individual cards. You ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, so we get 8 cards, right? It's 4 strikes, 4 defense, closed
That's right.
eyes, button clicked. Is there any other button I have to click? The cards are on the screen?
Cards are on the screen.
Uh-oh. I'm not
I'm
hearing
just
any good
thinking.
sounds yet. I'm hearing thinking.
No,
So these are
no, I
parts of
I
different
think
builds.
it's no, I think it's quite good. It's just
How do we
we're still
generate
missing
the
a couple
energy?
pieces. But I don't
Hmm.
actually okay, what's going on here is Pandora's box. Our next 5 floors, they might not even be that bad. There's a couple really good pieces in here. This is a strict upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
This is a strict upgrade.
There's a prostrate and a just lucky in there.
There
There's
is a just lucky.
Huh?
Good call.
I mean, if I name enough common cards. There's
Okay,
an
well, then
empty
you get
body
to-
slash mind slash.
How about this? How about this? You get to name 10 total cards. No, 6. 6 total cards. It's
Okay,
hit rate. You've already named 2, and you got one of them, which was quite good.
number 3, I guess. Rushdown.
No rush down.
We don't necessarily have the ability to capitalize on it super yet. I don't. This is me saying I don't. So I don't think there's a flurry of blows in there.
Okay. Okay.
There's definitely an empty fist because there's an empty fist every time you do this.
There's not.
Are there any rares?
There is.
Is it Dava form?
There's a Dava form here.
Yeah, one down.
Yeah. How did you guess that?
Worried about whether or not we would be like. I'm interpreting your response as worried about how we would use these things.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would use a Dava form right now.
Yeah, agreed. But we've got some relics to theoretically take advantage of it, like letter opener.
I think there might. If I wasn't going to guess Dava form, I would have guessed Divinity, but there's only one rare, right?
There's only one rare, which is actually below average here. I would expect about, out of 8 cards, I would expect 2 rares. Because about a fourth to a third of the card pool is rares.
Okay, my final pick here is I think that there is the path to victory, the mark, the what is it called now? Pressure points.
Oh, that's the old name. No, the new name is
Pressure points.
now pressure point. Yeah, pressure point.
All right,
No pressure points.
Oh, I failed. Wait, hang on. How many more cards do I have to name?
You got Just Lucky and Dava form, and there are 6 cards here that are missing.
6 cards.
You should just look at it though at this point
Okay.
because it's
You're right.
I wanted.
Oh,
I
God.
wanted to see. Yeah.
This is
yeah.
a lot better than you let on.
So this is why my response was probably confusing. This is quite good, but it also will still result in us hemorrhaging some in the first few fights. That's why I was chewing on it, because I was already thinking about how do we make sure we survive all the way to like late Act 2. Because if we get there, this is crazy. We just need a couple 0-cost block cards and a little bit of card draw or scry, and it's solid.
And we will see if we happen to find any of that in the early shop. A little bit of a preview for the next video. Link down in the description below. Hope to see you there.